Alright, you guys, we're going to go ahead and get started, so make sure that you have a new tab open, that you're on Code Naturally, app.codenaturally.com, and that you are ready to go with a new beginner sketch open. So if everybody could just get a new beginner sketch open, and then let us know when you're ready to go. Hopefully everybody is staying inside, staying healthy. Let us know if there's anything that you've been doing to keep busy. A really great thing that you can do is watch our YouTube channel videos. So we have a ton of videos posted on our channel with instructional videos about how to do certain things, like a few things that we're going to cover today. There are actually full videos for, and then there are also videos that will help you become a little bit more advanced, so that maybe you can hop over to our Thursday class or our Tuesday class, our advanced class, or you can just stay with us in beginner and just be making some more advanced projects on the side. All right. So hopefully everything is working all right. Let us know if there's anything wrong with the video, and let us know if you guys are ready to go. Alright, so first thing that I'm going to do, I'll move down a little bit so you guys can see where I'm coding. First thing that we are going to go over is how to make a crescent moon. So a crescent moon is basically just a moon that's not a full moon. Oh, apparently there's something wrong. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay. Apparently there's something wrong with the sound. Let's just fix that really quick before we get too deep in to what we're doing. Okay, so it seems like it's all better now, which is awesome. So what we're going to do now is start with our crescent moon. And I'm just going to go over a crescent moon, a rainbow, and mountains to show you guys a few examples of things you can put into your landscape. So your landscape is basically going to be a design of a background. You can use it later on when we're doing like games. You can use it as a background for a game. You could use it as just a general landscape for like a pretty sketch that you can make. You can make a lot of different landscapes. So this is one of my favorite projects to do because I think that everyone will have a really unique landscape at the end of this. So to do the crescent moon, I'm going to start by putting in a background. And I'm just going to choose a nice dark blue color, paste it in there. Alright, so that looks pretty good. I like the way that looks. And now I'm going to put in a moon. And I'm going to put my moon in at the top left corner, and I'm going to make it an ellipse. I also want to fill it in, and I'm just going to fill mine in white. You could fill it in like a really light yellow color, or maybe like another like a paler blue color. You can choose whatever color you want. So the important thing is that we're going to center it up top. So I'm going to put it at 2, 2. So remember, when we do an ellipse, it's ELLIPSE. Then we're going to make a set of parentheses, and I'm going to center it at 2, 2, and I'm going to make it 3 wide and 3 tall. I think that'll look pretty good. Yeah, I like the way that looks. That looks pretty good. Okay, so the next thing that we'll want to do is make another ellipse, and we want this ellipse to be the same color as our background, and it'll make sense why in just a second. Basically what we're doing is layering two circles on top of each other so that they make what looks like a crescent moon. So let's go like this. I put in the fill command for the same color as the background. And now what I want to do is say, okay, I want to go to the top right corner. So maybe I'll put it right here to start. We might have to move this around a little bit. So that's 3, 1. So I'm going to do an ellipse at 3, 1. And I'm just going to make it 1 wide and 1 tall. And basically what I'm trying to do here, if you can tell, I'm trying to layer this on top so that it looks like it's not a full circle. So instead of 2, 2, let's try 3, 3. All right, so do you see how now that looks like a crescent moon? It looks like not a full moon, but a crescent moon somewhere along the way. So one thing that's making this not look as good as it could is that there are outlines on the outside of the shapes. So having that outline there makes it so that it doesn't really look as much like a moon as it could. So I'm going to go back up to the top and I'm going to add in no stroke with a capital S. So N-O, capital S-T-R-O-K-E, and then an empty set of parentheses. And now you can see how we can layer shapes on top of each other to make them look like something else. So another thing that we could do if you wanted this to be just like a half circle instead of a full circle, you could maybe put a rectangle over it and cut it in half. So this can be really useful when you're making landscapes like what we're doing today, or if you're making sometimes like a character's face will look really good if you do a circle and then you put the rectangle over top of it. So try out a few different things with your layering of code. We're going to do a couple more layering examples. So at this point, I just really want you guys to be watching. Don't worry about coding your own project right now. Just really focus on watching and just learning. We'll do a little bit of this instruction, and then I'll start coding a project, and you guys can start coding a project, and we'll work on something together. So that is how you would make a crescent moon. You layer those two ellipses on top of each other. Next thing that I'm going to show you is how to make a rainbow. So a rainbow is going to be the same idea. So I'm going to put a background color in that's like a nice light blue color. I'm going to grab my workbook really quick because it has all of the color codes that I want to use for this. So it can be really useful if before you do a project you just write down all of the color codes. That's a really useful exercise that you can do. Or you can just use the color picker. It's super easy to use, so you can do it either way. But basically what we want to do is start with a background. The next thing that we want to do is layer our circles. So a rainbow basically is an arch that has all different colors, right? So what we're going to do for this is just layer circles on top of each other that gradually get smaller and smaller in size. And we want to start with the biggest one because the biggest one is going to go underneath all the smaller ones. If we put the code for the bigger one after, it would cover up all of the work that we did because whatever you write first happens first on the canvas. So anything that you write later on is going to go on top of that. So this project is actually way, way easier than you guys might think. So make sure that you're just paying attention to this part for right now. You don't have to do a crescent moon, you don't have to do a rainbow. I'm just showing you these examples to get you some ideas. So I'm putting in my fill for my red. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an ellipse. I'm going to center it at, let's do 6, 5. And I want to make this one 8 wide and 8 tall because I want to put 8 total colors in my rainbow. And a little trick for you guys, in ellipse, you can get away with putting just 3 numbers in an ellipse because the computer will automatically recognize that that last number isn't just the width, it's also the height. It's something, you can't do that with a rectangle, but you can do it with an ellipse. So it'll just save you a little bit of time. So what's really cool about this project is that you can just copy this ellipse, because we're going to center it at the exact same place and we're just making it one size smaller. So I'm going to put in the fill for my orange, and then I'm going to paste in my circle, and you'll see that what I have to do is change that size. All I have to do is change the size. And I'm going to add in the no stroke command, so I get rid of those lines on the outside. And you can just keep doing this, and it's really easy to just copy and paste these down below, and then you can just change this size and change the color. So then I would just go back in and I would make this one yellow, and then I would make this one green. There we go. So you could keep going with all the colors. Just for the sake of time, I'm just going to cut this one a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the fill in. For the final circle, I'm going to do it the same color as our background, and you'll see why in just a minute. Okay. So I want to make an ellipse at the same exact center, so 6, 5, and I just want to make it 4 by 4. And what that's going to do is make it actually look like it's an arch instead of it being like a half circle when we're done with it. Because the next thing that we're going to do is cut our rainbow in half, because right now it just looks like a jawbreaker or something like that. It just looks like a big circle. So what we're going to do is make a rectangle, and you want to start it where it would cut this in half. So I'm going to do 1, 5, and I'm just going to make it 10 wide and 5 tall, because I know for sure that I'll cut it in half. And if I got rid of this no stroke command, you could see the outline. So that's the outline of where my rectangle is that's helping to cut my rainbow in half. So then you could add a ton of stuff to this. You could add mountains kind of on top of it. You could add a ton of clouds. You could add a pot of gold at the end. You could add some trees and some grass. There's a whole bunch of things that you could add to this rainbow to make it look super, super cool. So that is a little introduction on how you would do a rainbow. The next thing that I want to go over with you guys, I'll actually leave the background up for this one. The next thing I'm going to go over is how you would make mountains. So keep in mind, you guys should be following along with me right now. Don't really work on your own project yet. You will have time to get to it later. Don't worry, we've got plenty of time. So we are going to go and make some triangles, and we're making mountains with triangles because that's what shape they would be, but also I want to go over it with you because we haven't really practiced triangles yet. So I really want to practice these triangles before the end of the day, so I'm hoping that everybody has at least one triangle in their sketch. So what I'm going to do is type in triangle. For a triangle, you type in the whole word, and I'm going to put a set of parentheses. And the next thing that I'm going to do is put in the x and y coordinate of each one of the 3 points. So total, we're going to have 6 numbers inside of the parentheses because we need the x and the y coordinate for each of the 3 points. So let's say I want my mountain to start right here. First thing I'm going to say is 7, 2. Now instead of telling it how wide and how tall to be, I'm just going to find where my next point should be, and I'm going to do 10, 7. And it really helps if you trace out your triangle like I am with my mouse. So if I wanted to make this a perfect triangle, I'd put it right here, I think. So that is going to be 4, 7. So I'll do 4, 7. So I now have 6 total numbers in there, the x and y coordinate for each one of my points. So then I could add in a fill command. Maybe I'll make these like brown. Okay, and then I could add in like the no stroke command. Maybe you could do like another triangle right here that's like white, so it looks like there's snow on top of the mountains. You could add some green down here to make it look like grass. And one more thing I'm going to show you guys is how, if you want hills instead of mountains, I'm going to show you how to do that really quick. So I'm going to type in Bill. I'm going to choose a nice green color for the ground. And when I do the ground, I'm going to want to use a rectangle. So I'm going to do RECT, make a set of parentheses, and I'm going to start it all the way over here and just have it stretch out all the way down and across here. So I'm going to start it at 0,7. Oops. And I'm going to make it 13 wide and 3 tall, because I know for sure that it'll be wide enough and tall enough. All right, so that looks good. So the next thing that I want to do is put in a hill instead of a mountain. So I'm going to show you guys what a hill would look like. I'm just going to comment out the mountain for right now. So what you could do is you could make like a point right here. So we're going to make an ellipse right there at 7,7, and we could make it maybe 4 wide and 6 tall, something like that. And if you had a bunch of these ellipses coded for, it would look like you have hills, like rolling hills in the background. You could also choose to do like a triangle here that's green, so it looks like you have a slope. There's a lot of different things that you can do for your landscape, like I said. So what I'm going to do is kind of like a combination of everything. So I'm going to do a crescent moon with a mountain and a rainbow. I'm going to do a combination of everything. But like I said, I want you guys to really use your imagination for this. This is one of those projects where we could have a ton of different projects come out of this, which I think is super, super fun. And it's really cool for us to be able to see your own approach to a project. But if you want to just do the same one as me, you can totally follow along with me too. So make sure that you have your project open and ready to go, and you can start working on it now. So like I said, I'm going to be coding my project right now. You can either follow along with me or you can do your own project. So I'm going to check the chat really quick. I don't have my other screen open. All right, so just a reminder, you guys, do not comment emojis in the group chat. We can suspend you guys from the group chat, but we can also just eliminate you from the group chat altogether. And if we do that, you're not going to be able to get any of your questions answered, which is really something that we want that chat to be available for. The reason that we ask you not to do that and not to have inappropriate conversations in there is because we have the same rules as your school. So everyone should have gotten a behavior contract that they should have gone over with their parents. In that contract, we talk about how it's the same rules here as it is in school. And we want to make sure that you guys are just getting the most you possibly can out of this, which is a lot of fun. We really want to just have a bunch of fun, but we want you guys to be able to get help on your project if you need it. So please, 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 please just use that chat for questions. Okay, so now I'm going to get started with my landscape. Like I said, you guys can follow along. You can just watch me. You can code your own project. You can do whatever you feel like right now. I'm going to start by putting in some grass. Oops, I guess I should use fill. And then I'm going to make a rectangle that goes from 0,7, and I'm going to make it 13 wide and 3 tall. Alright, so I've got my grass in there. I'm going to add in a no stroke command. If you've ever watched one of these videos, you know that I don't really love the outlines on the shapes, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm actually going to make my background a little bit darker because I do want to have the crescent moon in this project, so I don't really want it to be daytime with the moon. I guess that is like possible, but not what I want. So, got my grass. I'm gonna add in my moon. And for this moon, instead of making it white, I'm gonna choose like a really pale yellow color. I'm gonna try that one out and see what it looks like. So I just put in the fill command. Now I want to make my ellipse, making sure that you spell it right, E-L-L-I-P-S-E. That one can be kind of a tricky one. So I'm going to put it right here. Yeah, I'm going to put it right here. Yeah. So I'm going to put it at 2, 2, and I'm going to try making it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to try 4, 4 and see if that's just way too big. I kind of like it. I know it's kind of big, but I kind of like it. Let's play around with it and see if I like the way it looks afterward. The fun thing about coding is that you can always change what you're working on. So if your project looks a little bit wonky, you can always fix it, change a few things to make it look better. So I'm going to put in a fill command that is the same color as my background. So 0, 0, 102. I'm going to put an ellipse in here. That is at, let's try it here. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to put it at 3, 1, and I'm going to make it 3, 3, or 3 wide, 3 tall. That looks pretty cool. I might even try moving it to 2, 2, and see if I can make it even more crescent-like. Oh yeah, that's not gonna work. Oh, it's the same center, so that's not gonna work for sure. And in this moment, that's when we can really use our decimals. So instead of 1, I'm gonna put this at 1.5. I'm gonna see, I actually like the way it looks at 1 a little bit better. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. It's pretty big, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so I chose to do like a nighttime landscape, mostly because I want to include the crescent moon in it. So you can choose to do nighttime, daytime. You can even make something that doesn't look like a natural landscape. You could make something that like isn't a blue sky or a brown sky or a black sky. You could do something that's not green grass or like brown dirt. You could choose to do like a purple sky. Maybe make it look like a sunset. That would be a really cool thing to add in. You could try making it look like a different planet. That would be cool. So the next thing that I'm going to do for this is I'm going to add in some mountains. I'm going to make them brown. And I'm going to make an ellipse. I guess I didn't really think about how there probably wouldn't be a rainbow at night. Nah, it's okay. This is a fantasy landscape. It's not necessarily real. So I'm going to make these mountains. I'm going to make the first mountain start at 6, 4. Then I'm going to move it down to 9, 6. And, oh, I did an ellipse. I was meaning to do a triangle. That does not look like a mountain. Okay, so 6, 4, 9, 6, and let's try 3, oh wait, it should be 9, 7. Yeah, and then 3, 7. Let's see how that looks. Perfect. I like that. I'm okay with it. I'm gonna add some snowy peaks to these too, I think. I think that would look cool. So I'm gonna add in another triangle right next to it. I'm gonna make it look like a mountain range. So I'm gonna add one that's at 9, 5. Make another point at 11. Goodness. Make another point at 11, 7. And then I'll make, let's see, we have 9, 5, 11, 7, and so I'll use 7, 7. So make sure every time you do a triangle, there has to be 6 numbers or it just won't work. So make sure that you put all those numbers in. Okay, and then I'm going to add my last mountain. Let's see if I can do this one right all the way through. And I'm going to have the top of my triangle at 12, 4. I'm going to put my other one kind of off the screen. So if I wanted it over here, it would be like 15, 7. Just because it's not on the screen doesn't mean it won't show up, which is kind of nice. And then 9, 7. Cool. So I like the way that looks. It's like a nice little mountain range. Maybe I'll make my rainbow go like in the middle right here. That could look really cool. We'll see. I still have to decide. So the next thing that I'm going to do is add some snow to the top of my mountains. So I'm going to add in the fill command for white. And I'm going to add another triangle at the top of this one. So I know that it's going to share the same top point. So I'm going to do 6, 4. I'm going to do another one at 7, 5. And then I'm going to end it at 5, 5. I'm going to see if I like the way that looks. I don't know if I love that. Gonna be honest with you. Trying to decide what I want to do. I could make another triangle going upside down, like right here, so it kind of looks more like snow. I could show you guys how to do a quad, which is a good way to do this. I could just not put snow on top of my mountains. I think I'm just not going to put snow on top of my mountains. They're going to be magical enough with the rainbow, so I don't think they're going to need it. Yeah, they're going to be good. Okay, so here's the deal. Now I want to put my rainbow in, but I want my rainbow to go behind my mountains. So what I need to do is go up here and make sure that I'm doing the code for my rainbow before the code for my triangles that make up my mountains. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the fill color for red. Okay. And I'm going to put an ellipse. Let's try having the middle right here. Let's just see what that looks like. 9, 5, and I'll make this 8, 8. That's gonna be way too big. Is it too big? Yeah, let's try 7. 6. Maybe I'll move it down 1. So instead of being at 9, 5, it'll be at 9, 6. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, so now what I need to fix. So my rainbow is covering the grass, not what I want. So I need to do it before I do the code for the grass. So I'm going to just do it right underneath my background. So when you're layering code, you might have to move some stuff around. That's normal, that's expected. So now what I'm going to do is do my orange circle. So I'm going to choose a nice orange color. That's not a nice orange color. That's a good one. Okay. And like I said earlier, the really easy thing about this is you're going to do it at the exact same center, and you just have to make it one size smaller. In this case, because it's a smaller rainbow, I'm going to make it 0.5 smaller. So instead of 6, I'm going to do 5.5. And that's going to allow me to add more detail to my rainbow. So I'm going to move my nose stroke up to the top, and then I'm going to keep working on my rainbow. So hopefully you guys have your own project going right now. You're either copying me or you are just coming up with something totally unique. either way, that's awesome. I'm just going to be working on my rainbow for a little bit. These ones are really fun to do because they look super cool at the end, but they take a little bit of time when you're working on it, so you just have to be really patient. And I'm going to show you guys a little trick that you can use. So you can copy this and paste it. I showed you this earlier, but just a reminder, it'll help you move through it a little bit faster. So instead of 5 here, I'm going to make that 4, and instead of 4.5, I'm going to make that 3.5, and then I'm going to change the colors. So this one is green, so I'm going to make the next one a blue color. I'm going to choose kind of a cool blue. Go. Then I just want to go here and paste that in. Okay. So then I need my next one to be purple. Choose that color. Oops. Got to make sure you only have one set of parentheses or the computer will get mad. Okay, and then remember that for our last circle, we want to make it the same, the same color as our background. So I'm going to put in a fill command, and I'm going to make it the same color as my background, which is 0, 0, 102. Then I'm going to make an ellipse at 9, 6. And I'm going to make it 3 by 3. And now I have a nice little rainbow behind my mountains. So that looks pretty cool. Trying to think of what other little details I can add in to make this look even better. Maybe I will go over the quad with you guys to add some snow to these mountains. Another thing, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add some stars to the sky. So this is a really easy and fun thing to add in. So I'm going to go right to where I did the code for my moon. So I chose this color for my moon. This is the actual code for my moon. And I'm going to add in some stars. So I'm going to use an ellipse. And I'm going to choose the place I want it to go. So 7, 1. And then for these ones, you want to make them really small. So since a full square is 1 by 1, I'm going to make this like 0.25 maybe, or maybe even smaller than that. Yeah, it's too big, so I'm going to do 0.1. Yeah, I think that looks like a star. Okay, so I'm going to just add in a few of these stars across the screen. And this is all totally optional. You don't have to put in any one of the specific elements that I chose to put in. You can totally choose to be unique. Oh, that one's not showing up because it is behind. There we go. I'm going to check the chat really quick, you guys. Okay, looks like everyone's doing pretty good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just keep adding in some of these stars. So hopefully you guys have your own project going that you're working on. And then in just, let's see, it's 3:05 right now, maybe in 10 minutes, I'm going to show you guys how to use advanced, and we're going to talk about some stuff in advanced mode. It's really, really important that we pay attention during that time because advanced mode is where we get to make all of our video games and all of our animations, and that's the kind of stuff that we want to get into pretty soon with you guys, probably in the next couple weeks. I know that most of you have spring break next week, which is awesome, so if you still want to tune in with class, we're still going to be here. So it can be, you know, a fun thing that you do. Maybe we'll do a special project next week since it's spring break. If you guys have any requests for other projects for us to do, just let us know in the chat. And also take this time, if you haven't liked this video yet, if you guys like our videos and subscribe to our channels, that would be so awesome. We're super, super grateful. It really helps us out a lot. And it really helps us if you guys can recommend other projects to us. So let us know what you want to code, what do you want to learn. And we'll let you know if we maybe already have a resource to help you learn that, or if we can do a video, or maybe a whole class. All right, so I'm adding in some stars. I think that looks pretty good. Just a few. Maybe I'll add one like up here. That is not right. I did something wrong here. Oh, this is the code I want. So this is where commenting your code is really useful. So I would highly recommend, if you don't already comment your code, that you do that. There we go. Okay, let's see. Mess this up a little bit. So the color of my background is 00102. So this one actually needs to be filled in that color. And then I need my other ellipse to be up here. Oh. There we go. That was my mistake for not commenting my code. Sometimes that happens where you lose something and you're confused about it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to start commenting my code. So this is where I did my rainbow. Remember, commenting your code is just putting the 2 slashes right before it so that you can see what comes right after it. So that's my ground. This is my moon. This is the dark outline for my moon. These are my stars. These are my mountains, and yeah, that's everything. Okay, so I did all of that so that I could make a star right here. Let's do 3, 1. That looks pretty cool. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with this landscape. Hopefully you guys get a chance to code your own landscape. Add some details in. Hopefully everything's working for you on Code Naturally. I'm going to do one more of these landscapes. I'm quickly going to show you guys how to share your assignments again. And I actually forgot to put the link for the project submission into the description. I think it might be in there. If I forgot, maybe Yuval can put it in there. Or we'll send you an email with it after or something like that. But remember to submit your projects. So just a reminder on how to do that. You go back to the home page, click on these 3 circles, click the share button, and then generate a link for it. This is the link you want to share with us. If you just share the URL that's up at the top, we aren't going to be able to access it. And we really want to see what you're working on, so make sure that we can access it and make sure that you share it with us. Also, just a few other features in the actual app. So if you go into settings, you can change into dark mode, which just changes the color of the screen, which is just a cool, fun thing that you can do. You can go in to the settings and create a key picker, which we'll use later on. There are emojis that we'll use later on. I'll show you guys how to do those later, but not right now. But I will show you, actually, let's do a text command together. So I'm going to put this down here, and I'm going to comment it this time, and I'm going to do a fill for white. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is put TEXT for text, and then I'm going to put quotation marks, and I'm going to say, I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to name it Rainbow Island. And I want to tell it where to go. So let's try doing like 4,8 and just see what that looks like. Whoa, that's huge. Okay, so I'm going to change my text size. So instead of as big as it is, I'm going to change it to 0.25, see if that works. I know that text doesn't work super well in beginner mode, but it's going to be really fun for us to use later on when we're working in advanced. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put text size, so TEXT SIZE with a capital S, really important. And then in the parentheses, I'm going to put 1, and I just told it where I wanted the bottom left corner to start. So 4,8 is where the bottom left corner is. Okay, so that's how you can add in some text. You just put TEXT, put some parentheses in there, put some quotation marks, type in whatever you want to write on your canvas, and then do a comma, and you tell it where the left and the right, or the X and the Y, sorry. The X and the Y of the bottom left corner should go. All right, so it's about time that I start getting into advanced mode with you guys. So if you guys want to take a pause from your landscape project that you are working on, let's go and make a new sketch. So you're going to press exit, start a new sketch in the same way you always do. Give it a name. And then it's really important that you click this over to advanced. So this is going to be our first day trying out advanced, and I'm just going to show you what some of the differences are. So get over to an advanced sketch, get ready to go, and press that go button. And I always just change the size of my grid to make it a little bit easier to deal with. I don't like it when you can scroll down and see all the different shapes, so I always use the setting bar to just change the size a little bit. I'm actually going to make this a little bit wider. Okay, so a couple of things that you'll notice are different now. Now we have some pre-written in code, And you'll also see that our canvas is way, 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 way bigger than it used to be. So what we need to do is think about what's going to be different here. So one thing that's going to be different is that we will be able to do animations and games in advanced. You couldn't do them in beginner, but you can totally do them in advanced and they turn out really cool. Another thing to consider, now instead of having an ellipse at, let's say 2, 2, 2, 2 would now be 100, 100. The reason that it's so different is because our canvas, instead of each box being 1 pixel by 1 pixel, they're now 50 by 50. So let's see what would happen if I did an ellipse and I did it at 2, 2 and I made it too wide and too tall. Do you guys see that teeny, teeny, tiny circle up in the very top corner? You can barely, barely see it. So that's not going to work. That's not what we want unless we want a really teeny, teeny, tiny circle. So now, instead of each box being 1 by 1, they're 50 by 50. So let's try putting it in as an ellipse that's at 100, 100. That's 100 units wide and 100 units tall. So now that looks exactly like it would if we were in beginner and we said ellipse 2, 2, 2, 2. So we're now dealing with bigger numbers, but it makes it a lot easier because you aren't going to be using decimals. So earlier, if I wanted something to be really, really small, I had to do like 0.1 or 0.25. Now, I can just make it 20. So that'll make it nice and small. I can make it 2. That would make it super, super small. So this is an easier way for us to add detail to our projects. So the next thing that I'm going to talk to you about are the pre-written encodes that are on the side over here. So this is function setup. Function setup is where you can do some setup for your project. So there's some magic codes that we'll put in there, like a really popular one is Rect mode center. And what that one does, instead of doing the code for a rectangle as the code for the top left corner, you're now going to do the code as the center of the rectangle. And that helps us when we're doing some like really detailed animations and some really detailed games. And also anything that happens in function setup will happen once every minute. So just once a minute, just like the clock changes every minute, would happen once a minute in function setup. All right, so now function draw is really where we want the magic to happen. This is where almost all of your code is going to be written, especially for the first few projects that we're working on. So function draw is where we're going to make all of our shapes. It's where we're going to do some of our commands to make things move. And there are a few special exceptions where we'll do code outside of function setup and outside of function draw, but it's really only a few special circumstances. The next point I want to go over with you is that everything in function draw happens 60 times every second. So that's faster than you could even clap your hands, faster than you could blink. So basically the computer is reading through each one of these lines 60 times a second. So it's going really fast, going through everything that's written over and over and over and over and over again. So this is how we can use it to animate things that are on our screen. I think that what we're going to do next class is we'll do a really fun like design contest, and then we'll do a really basic overview into animation because I feel like you guys need something like really fun for spring break. So the next thing that's super, super important when we're using advanced mode, and remember this is the part where you should really be paying attention This is the part where it's really important that you know what's going on, because this is how we make our more advanced projects, which I think all of you guys could be ready for. I just think you need a really good overview first. So inside of function setup and function draw means inside of these curly brackets. You don't really want to write any code right here yet. That's something we'll do like way down the line. But all of our code is going to go inside of these curly brackets. So we have our opening curly bracket here and our closing curly bracket here. When you click on these little arrows on the side, it's going to make a nice little sandwich right there with all of your code written inside of it. So it's really important that if you're reading instructions or if you're listening to me go over a project and it says to do something inside of the curly brackets of function setup, that's where you want to do it. Same thing goes for function draw. We want to put all the good stuff inside of this sandwich. I like to think of the opening and closing curly brackets as like the two pieces of bread on a sandwich. If you don't have both of them together, everything will fall out of your sandwich if you hold it. So you really need those two pieces of bread holding all the good stuff together. And then when you press this button on the side, it'll close it all up and look super nice. So I'm going to show you guys an example of this, if I can spell ellipse. Oh my goodness. Okay, so if I did an ellipse at, let's say, 250, 200, and I made it 50 wide and 50 tall, it's not working. So that's a bummer. So what the issue is here is that my ellipse is outside of this sandwich area, and I can tell by clicking that button on the side and saying, oh, it didn't get closed up. So I'm going to need to cut this out, put it right here, and now it'll appear. There we go. And so pretty much everything is going to be the same. It's the same way that you code an ellipse, same way to code a rectangle, same way to code a triangle, same color codes, same way to fill in your shapes. You do the fill command, go over here. You'll see your color picker is exactly the same. The color codes are exactly the same. Fill works the same way. The only thing that's super different is the function setup and function draw that are over here, and then the canvas, which is a lot bigger than it was before. So this is just your introduction into using advanced mode. I just wanted to get this on your radar so you know about it, so that you're a little bit familiar with it. You can try using it for your advanced or for your landscape sketch today. That would be awesome. You can try maybe just starting over, because you'll notice that if you copy and paste in here, so let's go, if I went to my sketch that I was working on earlier, which I did in beginner mode, if I took all of this and copied it and put it into my advanced sketch, inside of function draw is where I would put it. But you'll notice that my project is super duper small in the corner up here. I can barely see it. So try fixing it in your own way. There is a really fancy way that we can scale it and change it, but I want you guys to practice using this canvas, using this bigger canvas. So basically what you'll do is every unit that you did before, you can just multiply it by 50. So instead of this being at 9, it would be at 450, because 9 times 5 is 45, and then, wait, what am I saying? Oh yeah, 9 times 5 is 45, and then 45 times 10 is 450. Then you also need to change the y coordinate, so 6 times 50 is 300, because 6 times 5 is 30, and 30 times 10 is 300. So you'll see now I have the first piece of my rainbow down here looking the same way that it did on my beginner canvas. So you can either choose to like start completely over, or you can choose to do a little bit of math to make your project fit on the screen. So the last 30 minutes or so of class is just going to be for questions. So ask any of your questions now. It would be super helpful if you guys could give this video a thumbs up, and if you could subscribe to our channel. Make sure that next week, maybe during spring break, if you want to keep coding, you can look on our YouTube channel, and there are a ton of videos that we've been making for you guys about how to do all of the stuff that we've covered today, and some stuff that we haven't covered yet. So if you're feeling like you really want to try out some new projects, or you want to try to get really good at using advanced, go into one of our playlists and try to code all of those projects. And that'll be a really cool way for you to get ahead and just practice some of the things that we've been working on. So take this time to, let's share your projects if you can. I don't know if, let's go check the chat out really quick. Okay, so it seems like you guys are just adding more stuff to your projects, which is super awesome. So go ahead and keep working on that. I'm going to just do one more landscape sketch that I'm just going to make some different stuff in. And yeah, keep working on what you're working on. So I'm just adding in a sun, adding in some grass. Oh, I should probably put a background in. Let's make the sun a little bit smaller, a little bit higher. Okay. Alright, so I'm just making a little tree stump. I'm going to do it at 2.5, 5, and I'm just going to make it 0.5 wide and 1 tall. I'm just going to do a triangle as the top of this tree. Let's see. We'll put the top at 2.75, comma 2, and put the next point at 3.5, comma 5. So like I said, using advanced is really nice because you don't have to deal with all of these decimals, which can be a little bit tricky. But if you don't feel like you're ready for that yet, that's totally fine. Let's see, what did I do wrong? 3, 4, 5. Oh, I only put 5 numbers. That's not right. That is not what I wanted. 2, oh, that should be 2, comma 5. There we go. So now I have a nice little tree. Let's see, maybe I'll add like a little river, like some water. So I'm gonna do a fill for like a blue color. I'm gonna do some like little rocks along the river. I think that would look cool. So I'm gonna put a gray color in there. I'm gonna do like a little circle right here, so at like 7.25. Oops. Comma 6 point, let's see, 6.8 maybe. Maybe a little bit taller than that, 6.5. Cool. So now I'm gonna just like keep adding some rocks alongside this river so that it looks a little bit more like a river. Make sure that you guys are working on your projects, adding in some like unique details. I don't think I'm going to be able to share projects with you guys today. Oh, actually, maybe I can. I'm going to go check. Let's see if I can pull up your guys' projects that you are submitting. All right, I'm going to pull up the link for you guys to share it to. All right, so I'm going to share this with you guys. Sorry, I usually have 2 screens, but my second screen isn't working today, so it just looks a little bit different than class usually looks, but that is okay. Still working, still going the same way it should. You guys are awesome. I'm really glad that everybody's joining in. That's super great. Okay, looks like Julian shared a project for us to see. Let's check it out. Ooh, awesome. Super cool. So he's got like a little face in there. I like how he did the eyes. That looks super cool. And then the triangle is like totally tilted and looks cool. He didn't just do like an equilateral triangle. He tried making it a little bit different. That looks super, super cool. Good job, Julian. I don't know if this is a different one or the same one, but let's check it out. Yeah, same one. Awesome job, Julian. Really super cool. Okay, so, oh, is this another one from Julian? Make sure you guys just submit your project once, okay? If you submit it, we'll see it when we check it. Yeah, so awesome job, Julian. Thanks for sharing that with us. That's super, super cool. Use that link to share your projects. Awesome. And we're going to keep answering questions for the last 25-ish minutes of class. So if you guys just want to keep asking questions, just let us know what you're having problems with and we can help you out. I didn't see any other submissions. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is just some code for a project. Oh, it looks like we had some other ones too that just submitted. That's awesome. So I'll just put this in. Oh, okay. So make sure you guys that you're adding your what are they called? Semicolon at the end of your lines of code so that we can actually share them like this. All right, and if anyone else submits their project anytime soon, I can share that. Oh, so gotta make this a little bit bigger. Awesome job. So we got a little face with some eyebrows. That looks super cool. I like that you used some stroke commands to change the outside color and not just the inside color. That looks super cool. Good job, Arnav. Let's check out Julian's. So it looks like we have two Julians, Julian with an A and Julian with an E. Maybe it's the same. Oh my gosh, look at that. Good morning. That is super awesome. I love the sun with the little like sunbeams coming out. That rainbow looks awesome. That is perfect. And I love that you did the landscape challenge that we had today. That is a super, super awesome project. Great work, Julian. That looks super good. Everyone's projects have been really, really good so far. I'm really impressed with you guys. So Xavier, it looks like you just shared the URL. So make sure that you're sharing your project in the right way. Let's see. Yeah. So just a reminder on how to share your projects. So make sure that you are going out, clicking on these three buttons, pressing the share button, and then you have to copy this link right here. You have to generate the link and then copy this one. That's because if we were to go to that URL, it could sign us into your account and we could edit your code, which is not what we want. So we do it like this so that we can't change your code at all. So that's how you'll share your projects with us. So Xavier, if you want to resubmit that one, I can share it. If you put it up in the right way. Let's see if anyone else has submitted one. Looks like another one from Julian. Is this the same project? Okay, so another one from Julian. Let's see. That is super, super awesome. Happy birthday, Mackenzie. Is that for me, Mackenzie, or do you have a sibling named Mackenzie or a friend? That looks super awesome. I used this one in an email that we sent out to everybody. So congrats, Julian. Your project got used as an example. So when you guys submit it, it gets sent out to all of the parents that we have in our email list, which is a whole bunch of parents. So that's super awesome. You should be really proud of yourself. Right, let's see. Oh, awesome. So this one looks like it's the Magic 8-Ball project. So it looks like someone's been working on like the more advanced ones. That's awesome. So this is one of the projects that I was telling you guys about that is in our list of projects on our YouTube channel. So you can go to our YouTube channel. We have a bunch of playlists already set up. We have one that's for beginners. If you code all the way through that one, we have one for advanced mode, which you guys can totally start using. So yeah, really try to watch all those videos, and then make sure you guys are liking our videos. It really, really helps us if you guys like and subscribe to our videos. Then you guys will know if we post new videos, which we could post something new that you guys specifically request. So keep an eye out for that. I think for now we're going to end the stream. Let me just check one more time. Let's see, I'm gonna check one more time to see if we have any like last minute submissions from anybody. Oh yeah, we have one more from Julian. Awesome. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, same one I just saw. Awesome, really, really good job, you guys. You can keep asking questions. Please like this video. Please subscribe to our channel. It really, really, really helps us a lot if you guys do that. Thank you so much to those of you who have already done that. That's super awesome, and we're really, really grateful. Thank you for coming to class. We'll hopefully see you guys next week. If you decide to take the week off because it is spring break, we will post the live class that we hold on our YouTube channel. So you can always go back and watch it at a later date. That's totally fine. All right, so thank you guys all for coming in and being part of this class today. We're gonna sign off. You can still ask questions until 4 o'clock. So go ahead and ask your questions, submit your projects, and if I didn't get to show them this time, I'll try to show them next week. All right, thank you.